JJ's cryptic corner where the coins keep turning. Logging out, the future's burning. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. Pixels glow, charts flow. Crypto whispers, secrets show. He cracks the code on this winding road. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. Tune in, lean back, grab your coffee, hit the track. JJ's live, don't be late. Cryptic wisdom, seal your fate. JJ's cryptic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Happy Friday. How's everyone doing today? Sound off in the chat. Let me know your opinion on the poll. I asked you guys, do you think we're heading into another 2008 style recession? Your options are yes, inverse Kramer always wins. No, Fed will step in before. Yes, private credit too far gone. I meant to say gone. Apparently I said too far tone. And or no, blown out of proportion. I'm sure you guys can read that. I'm not going to retype the whole dang thing. Let's see. Hey! As always, guys, if you can guess where I am, you win $10. Let me know if you got a guess. Pretty much just in the chat. You can just tell me in the chat. Let's get into it, though. Bitcoin currently trading at $70,744.15. Looking good. What's going on, Zach? Appreciate you for stopping by, my friend. Smash the like button. Let's go refresh our liquidation heat map and see what the weekend holds for us. The miscellaneous Bitcoin fractal, weirdly accurate. It's actually quite nice. If this thing ends up playing out, it's going to be kind of hilarious because we're going to get back to some pretty spicy highs if it does, and then all of the 4-year cycle maxis are going to be really upset and start moving goalposts. 70,456. Oops, 74.56, 74.56. And then I'll go all the way to the bottom. Well, it's quite a small range, isn't it? I'll go right here. 68.916. 68.916. And then the bottom of the top, we've got a lot of liquidity up there. 71.319. And the top of the top, something tells me we're in the middle of a bear trap, which would be kind of hilarious. I'm going to go top, and then I'm going to do the middle one, 76,741. That would be epic if we ended up hitting that. There's one about right here, which I'm going to go right there. 74,523. 74,523. Ada said WMTX. Let's go take a look. I have not seen anything from them in a long time that has made me want to make a big boy purchase. Did they list on Coinbase? That's huge. Good for them. All right, let's see. When did they list? They listed on Coinbase a while ago. I had no idea. I didn't know this was on Coinbase. That's awesome. So there's a very clear. Let me go to an older chart. Kraken. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. A little more data. So there's a very clear trend down here. I'm going to make a shape. I like to make shapes sometimes. I guess I'm going to do that, yeah. So we knocked a couple of times. We had support, broke that support, turned into resistance a few times now. We haven't been able to get above that. So that level, I mean, it looks like, I guess it's 9 cents. That 9-cent level is pretty hefty resistance. Let's get above that. We were just overbought. on the 4-hour RSI, so might reset a little bit. We got to confirm red dot on market cipher. There's not always anything to really worry about that. I think the confirmed green dot is a little more bullish. If you would have bought that, you would have been up how much? 29%. That's a pretty big trade. MXC better liquidity. Let's go see. Oops. WMTX USDT MXC. Oh yeah. Looks like they listed it a longer time ago too. Very nice. All right. So yeah, I mean, you have. I'm gonna just put some points of interest on the chart based on price action. Those are real levels to look out for. Besides 9 and obviously 10, it's going to be a point of interest just based on psychological level. Outside of that, though, there really is no other resistance. Get above 9 and 10, and then it's green pastures until 15, I would assume. Like, this isn't going to be resistance because we touched it twice, you know. Everything else, pretty topical per support and resistance in the past. Zach said, you're going to peep that dong chart? I can take a look at dong. Pappy from BX. Who's Pappy from BX? That's got to be Bronson, right? No. Is it? I don't know who Pappy from BX is. Everyone's changing their names. I got mods who I've never met before. All right. Let's go back to Bitcoin really quick. I'll look at the dong chart in a minute, Zach. Let me get into Bitcoin. We got support and resistance, or not support and resistance. We got liquidation above and below. This is our little weekend range. We might, I mean, we've been getting pretty spicy on the weekends. We might liquidate some folks. I really like the fractal. The fractal is quite surprising because there's too many lines, man. There's too many lines on the chart. I apologize for the lines, guys. We've been pretty tight to the fractal. We got one deviation right here, and then that's pretty much it. There's like a minor one right there, but you can't even really make an argument for that one. If we pull back and hold 70 and then bounce off of that and get up to 76, 77, I'm going to call that a win. I'm pretty excited about this stupid fractal. Bitcoin dominance is at 59.23. We got double top resistance at 59.5. See if we break that. We haven't so far. We might be in luck. If Bitcoin dominance loses 59, we might start to have more fun with alts. We'll have to see what plays out, though. But Bitcoin's down 0.33% on the day. It is Saturday. This is when a lunar entity was expecting something to happen, potentially, just based on what the current administration has done in the past. On the weekends, they like to do weekend stuff. Let's go take a look at the dong chart really quick for Mr. Zaki. Dong is a Cardano native, if you guys are not familiar. Ooh, 8 evaluation. Get a pretty hefty pump. If you would have bought March 8th, and now arbitrary number, but if you would have bought March 8th for some crazy reason, you'd be up 19.5%. Very nice. Even if you would have bought November 4th for some reason, you'd be up 88%. Wow. That's pretty epic. Again, though, that's the 8 evaluation. Market cap, pretty micro cap, not going to lie. I'm a dong guy. I like me some dong, so big fan. Definitely worth checking out if you're in the market for a Cardano meme coin. Bitcoin, $70,712. Let's go to ETH, down 0.16, 2,088. We're holding 2K, which is good. I'm not a fan of the wick. The wick is indicative of some serious selling pressure, and we do have our purple trend line here, which is a very important trend line. This trend line goes back, what is it, 5 years? 4 or 5 years? Hold on. We got to do spring cleaning, man. This trend line goes all the way back to 2020, so actually 6 years. This is a 6-year-old trend line, and we broke below it once before during this pullback. We're still in higher low territory, so that's good. We got higher low going for us on the daily for ETH. There's definitely potential there, especially if we can get back above that purple trend line. As of right now, we're holding above 2K, big psychological level, so I'm okay with everything that's happening on this chart. I'm not a big fan of the wick, but I don't expect us to go straight up if we are in the middle of a recovery, even if it's just temporary. Bitcoin had a similar wick scenario. Yeah, right here. Again, indicative of some selling pressure. It got pretty hot pretty fast, kind of out of nowhere. Zach said, shirt is on the way, homie. So stoked you got that design. It turned out dope, and now I have to buy one too. Dude, it's pretty sick. It literally matches my logo. I'm totally wearing it on stream. when I get it. So yeah, Bitcoin. I really want to see that pull back to 70 and that hold. If that plays out, I'm going to be very, very loud about it. Solana's down 0.25 since the daily close, currently trading at $87.97. Again, guys, if you're not familiar with the setup here, if you can guess where I am, then you win $10. Guess where I am right now. You win $10. For this one, I don't necessarily need an address. I just need you to say where I am. Does that make sense? Yesterday was guessed, and the day before was guessed. So far, everyone's guessed every day. We got $20 in donations to Best Friends Animal Shelter because you guys are legends. We got 4 votes so far on the poll. Do you think we're heading into another 2008 style recession? So far, all 4 of you guys say yes, inverse Kramer always wins. Kramer does not think we're going into a 2008 style recession. The background today can be related to the title and the description. The news segment is going to have more. The news segment is going to have more hints. Pappy from BX said dining room. No, but I am going to need more detail than just that. Solana looks good, 88.04. I'm sad that we didn't hold 90, but that's where that wick was, so not surprised. Can we get above and hold 90? That would be ideal. We got this, what is this? What's going on here? I guess that's kind of it's not really even a trend line. We had like some, I would pull it up a little bit. Hang on. Maybe that. Yeah, I could probably sell that. Resistance, resistance, resistance. Yeah, it's a little bit sloppy. We're below that anyways, too, so there's not really anything exciting going on for Solana. Again, I want to get it above 90 and stay above 90. We got a bearish cross over the moving average and the RSI and a red dot on the momentum wave pointing to the downside with negative money flow. And the wick, we're probably going down a little bit. Total 3 is down 0.09%, seemingly rejecting the upper trend line. Resistance. We got rejection, fake out above, another rejection with a big wick, a rejection, and another rejection with a big wick. The big wick rejections apparently are common. We got 2 of them. First one being February 25th, so it's been a while since that's happened. Are we going to get that same exact move playing out again, though? I mean, that was a pretty harsh sell-off a couple days later. What is this telling us? Potential Monday? Oof. Hopefully that's not true. We'll see what happens, though, man. Maybe we get another Black Monday or whatever they're called. All right. Total 3. Looking a little spicy. Peppy said, like and sub up. This guy is the best. Appreciate you, Peppy. Ada is down 0.38% on the day, currently trading at 0.2647. We're kind of near support. I think 2622 is, I mean, some accidental arbitrary support just based on previous price action. We got bounce, bounce. That's like the platform that we use to bounce off of right there. Bounce right there. And, it's the bottom of the October 10th Binance wick, so that might be some good support there. We got a wick here too, the selling wick. Some sell pressure above 27.5. Let's see. 88 Metals Mania said, office, Senate Palace in the Moscow Kremlin. Basically Putin's office, sir. Send it to the dogs. Thank you. You guys are monsters, dude. I tried to make it hard. I didn't even get to the news segment today. I couldn't even do the hint. What the heck? How are you figuring that out? Are you reverse image searching it on Google? I didn't even go to the big one. How? It's tiny. It's ridiculous. You guys are out of control, man. 88 Metals Mania, that's creepy. Next I'm gonna do like my apartment and you're gonna send the exact address. That is it. Congratulations, my friend. Damn. Monster. We just hit the 15-minute mark. We just hit the 15-minute mark, and you got that right away. I gotta start making them crazy hard. That's insane. Congratulations. I am, for the first time, trying Celsius energy drink. It's been a long time since I've had an energy drink, and I can feel it, Mr. Krabs. I'm not a fan of the carbonated stuff. I don't know why. It's like hard to drink, and then I feel like it makes me gassy. I don't know. ADA 2650. Let's see if we end up holding this 26 level and bouncing off of it. That would be exciting. We got a bearish cross over the moving average on the RSI. And potential bounce coming off of 50. We'll see what happens when we reach that level. Red dot on the momentum wave pointed the downside with negative money flow. We've had negative money flow since February 22nd. All right, SNEC down 0.69%, currently trading at 0.000507. Are we going to hold 5 or are we going to break down? Fortunately, every time I scoot the depressing fractal, it kind of doesn't play out. So I'm just going to leave it where it's at. If it starts to look a little closer to what the depressing fractal is, I'll scoot it appropriately. But for now, hopefully 5 is our floor. That would be exciting. We got a red dot in the momentum wave, bearish cross over the moving average on the RSI. Yeah, I mean, 5 should be a nice psychological number. Pepe said, yeah, check out Rivercoin, easy money. 88 said, we going down some A? We're definitely going down for sure. Bitcoin 0.2 in the red. Let's check out Rivercoin. Let me go to CoinMarketCap for this one, just to get a good feel for what it is first. I feel like I've heard about this. It's number 90. So it's already in the top 100. $406 million market cap. All time, when did this thing launch? September? Hit a high of $85 on January 26th. It's listed on most major exchanges. I feel like Kraken is going to steal a lot of hype from Coinbase. I've been liking Kraken more and more lately. River, let's go to MXC, I guess. $20.71. Oh my gosh, look at that. That is a textbook inverse head and shoulder. I'm not a financial advisor. I might buy some of this. This looks like a beautiful trade. Although, I want to point this out. Normally, I would be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to long this. I'm going to blindly long this coin that I've never looked into before. If I did that, not a financial advisor, I would look for a target of around 30. Just to play it safe. You know, 50%, you can't really ask for more than that. 30 is pretty high. Textbook, inverse head and shoulders, very obvious. Everyone and their brother's going to see this. They're going to try to trade it. Now, we've seen patterns play out. We've also seen patterns invalidate. Bullish or bearish, if a pattern invalidates, almost every single time, like clockwork, it invalidates very violently in the opposite direction. So I would not be surprised to see this, again, if it does invalidate, which is why you wait for confirmation, blast straight down. I'm not saying it's going to go down that far, but I wouldn't be surprised. So be careful with this. I don't know the distribution. You do got to confirm red dot on Market Cipher as well. So Market Cipher, a little sussed out. Negative money flow since March 8th. Yeah, just be careful. Look for confirmation if you are trying to trade. Make sure you set stop losses, all that stuff. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. Pepe said buy, hold DCA for 2028. I like it. Tom Salk Goat said, what's the flippening? I see nothing flipping anything. Oil is flipping the rest of the market. Oil is the only safe haven. There is no other safe haven. Ada said, Kraken, been my exchange since 2021. I bet I was wishy-washy on Kraken, and then I saw that they sponsored, or maybe not sponsored, they like partnered with Kit Boga, and they gave him a fake exchange, basically. They gave him like, it looks like he has a Kraken account, and it looks like he has over $1 million worth of Bitcoin. And then he baits these scam callers, and he has the little voice modulator to make it sound like he's a grandma, and he basically tricks them into thinking that him as a grandma is about to send them $1 million worth of Bitcoin. And then right at the very last second, he fudges like the last digit of their wallet address, and then just hits send and confirms it. And you just hear the guy on the other side of the phone, the scammer, you hear his soul leave his body, because he just realized that this old lady just ruined his chance of stealing $1 million. He was going to have $1 million that he was going to steal from this old lady. And he's devastated because she sent it to the wrong address. And it is so funny, dude. It is so funny. I love those videos. Like, nothing makes me happier than scammers getting destroyed. Imagine the psychological implications of that. Imagine you think you're like, oh, I'm gonna steal $1 million from this stupid old lady, and you're pumped up. You're like telling everyone around you, you're like, I got this dumb old lady on the phone. I'm about to steal $1 million from her. It's happening. She's typing in the address as we speak, and then she sends it to the wrong, and you lost $1 million. You're like, oh, like the soul touch from the wise one or whatever the hell when she like knocks Hulk's like soul out of his body in frickin' Avengers. That's what probably happened. It's so good, dude. It makes me so happy. I don't know. I love those people's time getting wasted. But the psychological implications of missing out on $1 million, that's got to be pretty hard, dude. That's got to be pretty hard. At that point, you just go get a job. I would just go get a job. I would be devastated. They did a few of them like that with Kraken. Dude, I love it so much. That is like the greatest marketing campaign on the planet. Just effing scammers is so funny. I love it. All right, let's continue. 88 Metal said, well, technically it's an unrealized loss, but stings nonetheless. But it was so close. It was so close. It's just like the conversation that I have all the time. I'm like, in 2012, I looked into Bitcoin for like 2 hours. And I was like, yeah, this is dumb. And I didn't do anything. And I could have been a millionaire by now. Like, it doesn't really F me up. But if I had spent like days on it, and if I had mined some and lost it or sold it early or something like that, I feel like I would be devastated. But because I never really put too much time or effort into it, I'm kind of unbothered. Sucks to think about, but not as bad as it could. All right. Midnight's up 1.12%. This thing, the Binance listing cracked me up. Literally, like this, I think I said it the past 2 or 3 days. Poor Charles is like, welcome Binance. And Midnight just goes to the downside, which is pretty funny considering the latest narrative around Binance for the past like 6 months has been that they just dump everyone's bag. So it was really funny when that happened. However, having said that, I'm really a big fan of the trend lines that I drew. And there was not a lot of chart data to go off of. And it's weirdly, like, perfectly obeying these lines. We got support, we got resistance. Support broke. Support, resistance. Support, resistance. Support broke. Support, resistance. It's pretty crazy. Like, these lines have been on the chart for months. And there was, like I said, there was not a lot of chart data. So it's pretty cool to see we bounced perfectly off of 46941, which again, very arbitrary number. That is the most random number. 46941. We bounced perfectly off of that. We rejected 545, and we're sitting at 4968 right now. Are we going to get back above 5, or are we going to struggle with that? That's the psychological level we're watching right now. XRP is down 0.09, rejecting the upper trend line again. We got pretty hefty upper trend line resistance. Can we get above that? Are we forming something of a... what is it? Ooh, I actually kind of like that. Let's see if that ends up being anything. Hopefully it's not a bearish, continuation. Hopefully we do one of these, nice little reversal, and then boop. I do want to see a fake out first, though, and then that proper breakout. JY's Avenger said, I missed out on $1 million in 2024. I could have bought SPX 6900 before the Murad shill, but I didn't. I saw the dip and had enough money to buy 10 to 20K worth. I thought about it, but never pulled the trigger. Yeah, hindsight's 2020, though. I did the same thing. I think my biggest fumble was Crypto Bats, the NFT project. It was a $50 bin. I literally had my finger hovering over the button. And I was like, I had the money too. It wasn't like money that I couldn't play with. It was literally just like readily available. I was like, this seems dumb. Did not buy. I completely exited out of the window and everything. A week later, Ozzy Osbourne endorsement, $15,000 floor. That sucks. That's my biggest fumble by far. 88 Metal said, right. would hurt more if you lost 1,000 Bitcoin you scooped up in 2012. Right, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, I can't think about it for too long because it doesn't really bother me. You know, the guy that lost the hard drive in the dump, that sucks. That's probably the worst case scenario. I would be so messed up if that happened to me. All right, we got 8 votes on the poll. I'm gonna swap it out. I asked you guys, do you think we're heading into another 2008 style recession? 62% of you guys said yes, inverse Kramer always wins. 12% of you guys said no, Fed will step in before. 13% said yes, private credit too far gone, too far tone apparently. And 13% said no, blown out of proportion. I like it. Joe Wesberger said, I doubt you would have held Bitcoin from 2012. Exactly, there's that too. That's what I mean. I'm glad I didn't buy some or mine some and then sell too early. I'm glad it like happened the way that it happened. I looked into it as a dumb teenager and I was like, nah, and then I just went on my merry way. That's my best case scenario. That's what I like, that a lot of people are like, oh, this was me. Too bad I didn't do the Bitcoin faucet in 2010 or whatever. How many people held since then? Do you know what I mean? Not a lot. Like, you have that thing that you got for free. Suddenly it's worth $300, $500, maybe even $1,000. You're probably going to sell it. You're like, oh my gosh, I got this Bitcoin, this Ponzi thing, and it's worth $1,000. No, I sold that thing and I went and I bought a Ford Pinto. You know what I mean? Ada A said, my biggest fumble is that I sold Ada at 306 and bought back at 285. Oh no. That sucks, dude. I think if we're talking like that, my biggest fumble is probably starting my selfie series. I think, what did I just do? I just posted it. It's like I'm on like day 4. Hold on. I'm on day 467. I have taken 467 selfies. Daily selfies. Because Ada refuses to be anywhere near its all-time high. Completely screwed myself. Okay, this is a good one. Best sports car. Out of these options, you got Ford Mustang. You got Chevy Corvette. You got Dodge Charger. And that's it. Bam. Best sports car. Best muscle car? I guess best muscle car. Let's do that. That makes more sense. Best muscle car. Ford Mustang. Chevy Corvette. And a Dodge Charger. Just overall, there's no specific year for the poll. It's whatever year you want it to be in your brain. The best version in your head. What's going on, G Immortal? 88 Metals said, I lost 128K in Luna. God, that sucks so bad, dude. That's one thing I will say is Do Kwon being in prison, I feel like is fully acceptable. Tom Stock Scout said no voting. These all ass. Do you have another muscle car that you want to suggest? Ada A said dedication there. Yeah, unfortunately, you are correct. All right, we talked about XRP, H bar. I'm gonna fire through the rest of these. H bar is at the bottom of its range. SWE kind of looks like it wants to do a rounded bottom setup, but it's having trouble with the dollar. Ondo, probably the middle of its range. Arrow, towards the bottom of the range. Polkadot looks really good still. I'm very, very pleased with Polkadot. I'd like to see it hold $1.40 though. Avalanche. Ooh, oh yeah, Waterfly pointed out, we did a poll the other day, which hits $10 first, Avalanche or Chainlink. I think you guys voted for Chainlink, but Avalanche actually hit it first, so congratulations, Avalanche. $9.66, rejecting $10 though, so we want to get above $10. The levels are playing out very nicely. $9.50 acting as support right here, and then $10 acting as resistance. So let's see what happens, man. I'm excited. Chainlink slowly working its way up the channel. Let's see, do we get a fake out of the downside and break out of the upside? This is a bearish ascending channel. Like, this is like a bearish continuation pattern. So we want to see either a fake out or a violent invalidation if we want to make an argument for upside. Otherwise, we're probably just going to break down and continue to the downside. How much further down is it going to go? I have no idea. It might not even go down. I don't know. This is all just speculation. I'm not a financial advisor. Doge down 0.5% on the day, chilling at 95.49, struggling with 10. Let's get above 10 for Doge, and then we can start talking about the more exciting stuff. All right, gold. Gold is down 1.18% on the day, trading at $5,018.09. It is very, very windy where I live right now, by the way. So if I disappear, my stream probably got rugged because the wind probably destroyed my life. Jay Wesaventure said, there's a lot of crypto folks that need to be in prison, especially on Solana, or at least scare people into more, not to scam as much. So here's the problem with that. I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I think it's a dangerous precedent to set. There's that big argument with that kid, that young kid that rugged people on Pump Fund. He made a coin, and he stole like 30,000 or 70, some ridiculously large amount of money. Stole. And everyone was like, oh my gosh, the creator rugged the coin. You can see how much the founder has. How much of the coin the founder has. So, I might have to shut the camera off for a minute. I think my nose is bleeding. You can see how much of the coin the founder holds. And maybe you can, whatever. Regardless, you go into it knowing that somebody holds this coin and they could sell it. So that is why you cannot invest more than you can afford to lose. Then he made a coin called Sorry, and he did it again. He made like 20 grand the second time. It is not against the law to sell something that you own. It is a free market. Unless he committed fraud, and there's evidence where he was like, I promise I will not sell this. And also it's a security because you're buying it with the hopes of it increasing in value. Unless there's some official capacity that they could prove that he committed fraud, that kid did nothing illegal. He has very poor shitcoin etiquette, I will say that. But he did not, I don't think he broke the law. And again, it's your fault for investing in the rug coin, where the little kid, you know, allegedly, maybe not, stole money from you. Why are you giving your money to a little kid? How about Hawk Tua and Trump coin? Those same exact thing. I feel the same exact way about those. I'm turning on the camera. I do have a tissue in my nose. Same exact thing with Trump coin, same exact thing with Hawk Tua coin. If you put money in Hawk Tua coin and you lost money in Hawk Tua coin, you're an idiot. That's your fault. How is Luna different? Luna decided we're going to be a top 10 cryptocurrency, but also for whatever damn reason, we're going to actually print. We're going to print unlimited, infinite supply of our coin to peg this algorithmic stablecoin in the middle of a pending bear market. So they literally, this algorithmic stablecoin basically just printed so much Luna that the amount of money available in the market cap was not sustainable, and the price collapsed because how much they had to keep printing to keep this stablecoin valued at $1. So not only did they rug the stablecoin, they rugged the coin itself as well, the blockchain like ecosystem layer 1 as well. That is why, because Luna committed, I don't know if it's fraud, negligence, criminal negligence. There's such a large issue with Luna that there. How do you see no difference? Trump didn't print anything. Hawk Tua coin didn't print anything. Trump just minted coins. There was no promise of anything. It was just a coin with his name on it, and people bought it. Luna was a whole ecosystem. There were businesses operating on Luna as an ecosystem that relied on the blockchain having a regular reputation and not printing it to infinity to the point where the valuation went to zero. Literally went to zero. It's at the bare minimum, I would say it's criminal negligence. But I'm pretty sure that they got him with fraud. They hit him with the book, dude. They hit him pretty hard. It's not like a Tornado Cash kind of thing or the other guy. I don't remember the other guy, the Silk Road guy. It's not like that. Where they're like, oh, you did a thing that we don't like, so we're putting you in prison. It's like he did illegal things that resulted in him going to prison. Luna's a completely different situation. 88 Mental said, shit, I'd still come chat. JJ would be happy if you rugged us for a few $100K. I'd be happy for you. I could never do it, dude. I could never do it. I don't think I could. Joe has eventually said, so if I launch a coin with me holding a ton of the supply and get people to FOMO in and dump on them, that's not me scamming? I don't think that that's you scamming, no. Unless you say, I'm not going to dump this, and you put it in an official capacity, it's on the website, I will never sell my supply. And then you do, that's fraud. That is an actual illegal thing. We agree to disagree on this one. I mean, I know that my take is a hot take for sure, but I'm also, I think the Hakua girl got taken advantage of. I think people said, we want your IP, we'll give you $1 million, let us make you this coin and you shill it for us. And she was like, bet, let's do it. They made like $100 million off of it from fees and maybe insider selling. And she's like, I have no idea what happened, because she probably literally just was given a bunch of money and told to talk about it. I will say that is the dumbest thing in the world. She was the first person that I saw fully take advantage of her 15 minutes of fame, and then she fumbled it right at the end. 88 Metal said, I'd say if you said it's releasing these dates or not selling any first 60 days, etc., it's a scam. That's what I mean. If there's any official capacity where you said something and then you did the opposite, then that is fraud. Fraud is illegal. That is a scam. But if I just own a bunch of coins and I'm like, guys, go buy JJ coin, and you guys go and buy JJ coin and then I sell a bunch, that's not a scam. Unless I say, I'm never going to sell any of my JJ coin. You guys should go buy some. And then I sell, that is a scam. Because that's fraud. But if I just own a shit ton and I dump on you guys, that's not a scam. That doesn't mean I'm a great person. That I clearly, if in that situation, I'm a shitty person when I do that. But that's at each person's own discretion, you know? The other guy that rugged might think I'm a great guy. You know, it's going to be whatever creator bias. I really want to get this tissue out of my nose. You guys are voting. Okay, it's 50-50 tied between Corvette and Dodge Charger. What? Are you guys on crack? What is going on? All right. Gold, $5,018. I want to see this hold 5K. I'm actually kind of sad that's below 50-50. Drew, oh my gosh. Drew said, JJ, I had a brownie from Jimmy John's and it was the most disgusting thing ever. It made me think of you. I've never bought a brownie from there. I'm not a prepackaged brownie guy. I need my brownies fresh out of the oven. I think the little cosmic brownies are filthy and disgusting. And I imagine Jimmy John's prepackaged brownie probably tastes like dry cocoa powder in like some kind of hard bread form. What's going on, Drew? Appreciate you. I thought you were going to come in here and be like, I took a mushroom edible and I'm like blitzed out of my mind. I thought that was going to be fun for a second. All right, let me see if I can safely remove this from my nose. I needed something sweet and bro. It was dry ass. That's so unfortunate. I may have screwed myself and taken that out too early. Love you, man. Appreciate you, Drew. Miss you, man. We gotta get together and play DayZ again soon. That shit was fun. Man, I'm having trouble. It's dry in here. Oh, help me. All right. What's the deal with the nose? I don't know. My nose started bleeding because I itched it while I was streaming. All right, we're back. I got a different tissue this time. We're non-discriminatory. I have tissues of all shapes and sizes and colors and countries of origin. Let's continue. Kind of sad that I fumbled the soft tissue. Anyways, gold down 1.18%. We'll see if this thing ever starts to be a hedge against inflation ever again. My PC game is back on. Very nice. Silver is down 3.9%, currently trading at $80.56. I feel like this is I don't really see silver going below 70. in the midterm. I think silver is going to probably, if it does anything, I think it'll just dance in between like 70 and 100. And then maybe it goes up in a couple months, but whatever. I don't know. JY's Avenger said, honestly, everyone in chat needs to launch a coin, bundle 80% supply, and try to get people wrecked. It's not easy, though, to get a coin to even a 1 million market cap is tough. So I actually have a bunch of buddies that have coins, and they're not doing too bad, actually. They're, like, actually in it and, like, doing it. So far, none of them have rugged, and I own a little bit amount of a couple of them. But it did become a thing where I was like, I feel like everyone has a coin. And so now I'm being the contrarian that I am. I'm like, ew, I'm never making a coin because I think it's stupid. So just to feel different and, I don't know, holier than thou, I vowed to never create a coin. But also, what the hell do I need a coin for? Like, if you guys want to send me money, you're more than welcome to. But I have no use for a coin. That's why the creator coin thing, I'll never understand the creator coin. People are like, they can use it to get tips from their, you can literally send me whatever coin you want. You can tip me with whatever coin you want. I don't need a coin. I think the creator coin thing will never exist. I like the idea of like being able to receive through YouTube officially stable coins or crypto or something like that. I think that'd be cool. But I'm also just going to have my wallets down below so we can do it the decentralized way. And we don't have to, you know, give YouTube a cut. Whatever. I don't know. I feel like the creator coins are kind of silly. Drew said, I've been out of the crypt worlds for almost a year now. Probably feels so good. 88 said, I see silver under 70. Really? Joe Weather said, I want to make millions by buying low and selling high. That's it. Just a challenge to myself. Right. All right. Yeah. Let's see what silver does. I like it in the 80s. This is not a promising structure, though. We've seen this before. I feel like there's some kind of yeah, one of these guys, and maybe it goes up once it hits freaking 70. Who knows? I don't remember what this is called. It's called like a butterfly kisses or something. Starfish, pink starfish. DXY up 0.75. This thing is flying. Whoa! DXY is back above 100. I had no idea that this happened. It rejected 99.5 here. We got a support bounce at 98.75 and then blast off. The dollar is strong. Again, I don't know, my little conspiracy brain. Let's do the tinfoil hat. Here's what I think happened. Here's what I think went down. I think Trump met with Warsh and the other guy, and Warsh was like, all I require is a strong dollar. Get the dollar back above 100, and I'll make sure you get your rate cut, Mr. President. And Trump was like, deal. And they shook hands like really aggressively, and he jerked off his hand while he was like pulling him really close to him. And they made a deal. And then Trump was like, we need to attack Iran in order to get the price of, or the value of the dollar up. I don't know what magic happened in between then and there, but that's what I think's going down. Jay West eventually said, because it feels like 90% of wealth in crypto doesn't actually come from trading. Oh yeah, traders majority of the time lose. Drew said, yeah, I can tell what way the market's going based off my friends. Oh, but bro, I got past balls deep into Warhammer lore. I love the books. I've not gotten into Warhammer. I'm scared. I'm scared to go anywhere near Warhammer because I know it is very expensive. I do. It's not Warhammer, but I do have a ton of D&D minis that I plan on painting at some point on the channel, maybe. Hold on, let me go to the big cam. If you guys haven't already and you want to be a degenerate gambler, sign up to Calcio with my link in the description. Deposit and trade with $25 or more, and we'll both receive $25 in non-withdrawable site credit. It's a lot of fun, but it is gambling, so treat it as such. D&D Mini. D&D Minis. D&D Minis. This guy looks just... Oh, no. Hold on. Is that the right guy? They're a little bit dusty. Excuse me. This guy looks just like me. Wow. And then... D&D Minis. Very cool. If you're not into D&D, I highly recommend you get into it. It's very fun. The minis are fun. The books are great. I don't know. I like D&D. I'm a white guy. What do you expect? Let's get back to business. Hold on. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to reach 2,000 subscribers at some point. Also, vote in the poll. Chevy Corvette is winning right now. I asked you guys best muscle car. Ford Mustang, Chevy Corvette, or Dodge Charger. 43% of you guys so far are voting for Dodge Charger. Or, I'm sorry, Chevy Corvette. Very cool. Coin market cap, fear and greed index is at 30. Yesterday we were at 30, so we're the same. Just as afraid as we were yesterday. Hype got knocked out of the top 10 by Ada. Cardano has breached the top 10 for the 14th time this year. CoinGlass Fear and Greed is at 15. I don't remember what it was at yesterday. And the stock market Fear and Greed is at 20. Extreme Fear, I think, for the second day in a row. Let's get back to... Bam. Okay. Drew said it's very addictive. Yeah, you got to check out D&D. I don't do the minis. I just am into the lore. Okay, maybe I'll get into the lore then. The minis are the expensive part. That's what scares me. HQZ said, sup, bro? What's going on, HQZ? JWest Venture said, JJ, can I get your opinion? Can you look at Dolo, please? You think these pump fund memes can ever come back, or they'll be dead forever? I don't know, actually. I feel like they can come back. I don't know if any of the old ones will come back. If they do, I think it'll be very, very, very nitpicked, like cherry-picked. Let's see, Dolo. Oh my god, Wendy's is right there. Wendy's sounds so good. Up 12%. It is at a $73,000 market cap. See, charts that look like this, when they do pop off, it's very, very random. Like this might go boop, or it might go whoa, and then nobody will expect it. And it'll look very different. Problem is, once they've rugged, I think it takes like a random, like a Murad or Mert or some other random miscellaneous person in the community on X to be like, oh, we're all gonna ape into this, and then everybody does, and that guy sells, and you know, like maybe 10% of the community makes money, and him and that 10% are like, you guys are idiots if you didn't sell at the top. Look at me, I sold all the way up here, and this guy sold here, this guy sold here. We bought all the way down here, so we were all in profit. You guys are idiots because you bought up here or down here. You know? And it's always some weird blame game like Circle Jerk, PvP. So I don't know, it's just a gamble. 88 said I'm going to pass. Drew said I would stay away from pump fund memes. I am going to try to play them still, actually. I am. Just for fun, though. I think the problem is people get way too into it. They get way too into it. I didn't even realize I had this on still. We were in full conspiracy mode. My bad. People get way too into it, and they go all in on the pump fund memes. And then they're like, I don't know where all my money went. Oh my gosh, I only put $40,000 in the memes. Why didn't they go up? And then you have to explain to your wife, honey, we don't have any more money for the house. What do you mean? I spent it. I spent it on investments. What do you mean, like the stock market or like Bitcoin or something? Kind of like Bitcoin or something? Well, what'd you buy? Poop coin and P coin. What? Poop coin and P coin? You spent our house money on poop coin and P coin. Yeah. Like, what conversation are you having there? Stop putting all your eggs in one basket. Diversify. I'm not a financial advisor. But if you go all in on just memes, you're going to get memes back. Memes are a gamble. You can have fun and gamble. Do whatever you want. It's not me for 100% exposure at all. Reese said, hey, Baldy, what's going on, Reese? Drew said, oh my God, Drew and Reese are both in the chat at the same time? What's going on here? High risk, high reward. There you go. It's a gamble. It's fun. I'm not saying don't do it. No crime to the casino, that too. That's what bothers me. People are like, oh my, memes are such a scam. I put all my money in them and the money went away. Yes. Yes. That's literally like probably 90% of investments. Let's be honest. Drew said exactly, it's just for fun. If you're putting anything over 2% into a pump meme, shake my head. Buddy lost $180,000 on Alton memes. Yeah, that's crazy. Somebody else made that $180,000 on those Alton memes from your buddy. Joe has eventually said I will bull post it to 1 billion market cap like Murad. Hell yeah. That's what you got to do, man. You got to build your foundation, build your following, and then be like, let's all go buy poop coin and pea coin. And then you go, honey, I just made so much money that we're going to buy 4 houses all right next to each other. And we'll be able to pick which one we want to live in that day. That's what you got to do. Build the foundation, man. Build the foundation. Most people can't take accountability. Exactly. Jeff just hold. Drew said Jeff just hold Bitcoin. Jesus effing Christ. I like Jeff. Jeff is much better. All right. Dow Jones Industrial below 50,000 still. If you are a criminal, beware. Nasdaq down 0.79. Following the fractal, unfortunately. Let's see if this thing ends up falling off a cliff on Monday. S&P. Well, so far we've got 2 different things looking for a cliff on Monday. Jay West Venture said, I watched your video, JJ. It's all mindset. It is all mindset, dude. It's 100% mindset. Literally, and it's so weird that crypto got me into this. NVIDIA is very sideways. I suspect even if the stock market falls, if NVIDIA is going to hold up, it's probably going to maintain this goofy range. But we'll see what happens, man. You know, private credit's getting all funky. That'd be crazy if NVIDIA was just like the new gold. But crypto got me to start considering my money. And Tesla's really struggling with that $400 level. And with that, I started saving. And I stopped really thinking about it like this weird like necessity. And I started thinking about it as a tool. And I just, for whatever reason, something changed in my brain. And I was able to just put aside I'm just going to be stuck in this 9 to 5 grand for the rest of my life. And it's a lot easier for me to make money now. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's just because I think about it differently. It's not a hassle to get up and go to work. It's just, it feels weird. And I think it feels weird because I'm not currently impoverished. And I normally am. So I'm still getting used to it. But I'm also sitting on YouTube with a napkin in my nose, talking to a bunch of strangers about poop coin and pea coin. So here we are. JY's Avenger said, I will make it my reality. $100 to 1 mil on crypto. Hell yeah. That's the way to do it, man. JY's Avenger said, I told my mom that recently money is a tool, and then I saw your video. That's actually really sick. 88 Metals Mania said, I'm having a hard time taking you serious with that stuff in your nose. Is it better if I just shut the damn camera off? Drew said, it's funny how getting into the most risky asset can help you lean to save money. Isn't that crazy? We're not strangers. JY's Avenger said, it's a knife. It's like a knife. It can be a weapon or something you can cook with, depending on how you use it or view it. Exactly. All right. Strategy, aka Big B Coffee. The reason I call it Big B Coffee is because the logo is identical. Currently trading at 138.19. Oddly enough, we do have these repeated uptrends, so that's a little bit of a cause for alarm. But so far, this one's maintained longer than the other couple of ones. It is unfortunately a bearish trend. So unless we actually like sustain this to the upside and get a higher low, this could eventually just break down and then continue lower. What we want to see is like the continued upside and then the breakdown be smaller than the upside. That is how stuff eventually gets higher. So we'll wait and see. We're struggling with 140. Getting above that's going to be ideal. I do like that it's not dumping. That's exciting. Dominance is 59.22. Let's get to the news segment. I think we've been, I'm excited to see how this fractal plays out. But I'm also alarmed because I don't know what's going to happen on Monday. And Monday might be spicy, man. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to do a quick napkin check, see if I can get this out of my nose yet. Okay. Looks a little promising. I just don't want to drip on the floor. Because I don't know why whoever created these damn apartments was like, let's make the layout not make sense from an architecture standpoint. But also, let's put white carpet in there. All right. I think we're good. All right, let's get to it. I almost touched my nose again. I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to sip my Celsius, though. Do we do a new poll before I get into the news segment? Let's do that. We got 7 votes. I'm going to end it. You guys are sociopaths. I was going to say psychopaths, but that didn't sound right. You guys are crazy. And maybe not, actually. Maybe I'll accept these results. The Chevy Corvette is probably the ideal muscle car. But when I think muscle, I think like older. And when I think older, I think at least a Dodge Charger. But I'm a Mustang guy, man. The old Corvettes are pretty sick, though. Like 69, 70, 71 with the T-tops. Stingray. Ooh. All right, maybe I agree with you guys. Maybe I'm not as much of a contrarian as I was expecting. All right, let's see. Actually, this one's a good one. Start a poll. All right. What's your bet to 10x your portfolio as fast as possible? We've got Bitcoin. We've got tech stocks. We've got precious metals. And we've got oil. Let me know what you guys think. Avert your attention to the poll in the chat. What's your best bet? What's your bet to 10x your portfolio as fast as possible? Bitcoin, tech stocks, precious metals, or oil? Let's get into the news segment. Ash Crypto. Oh yeah, we were talking about this yesterday. Franco was in here. He mentioned this as well. The $50 million loss that this guy made allegedly on Aave with his slippage at like 99%. Apparently, it's being theorized that this was just one big money launder, which makes sense. So either this whale is the dumbest guy ever, or he just laundered his dirty money. Pretty easy to launder money when you, oh no, I'm an idiot again. Every time I try to take profits, I get scammed. Oh no. Get my accountant on the phone, tell them I just lost 50 mil. I don't know. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. And then all of a sudden his $50 million tax bill's paid. Bitcoin reclaimed 73K. We're still below that. See, every time they post about something, whatever price they post about, we lose. We are at $70,833. Silver crashes under 80, falling 5% today. It has since recovered as well. Canada's economy lost 83,900 jobs in February. 88 Metals Mania said a 10x. Ha 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 ha. Let me know what happened. What do you mean what happened? For this, so some guy tried to swap $50 million for Aave, and the slippage was at like 99%. He got multiple slippage warnings saying like, hey, you're about to execute this trade, you're going to lose majority of your money, because they can tell you how much money you're going to get back. There's not enough liquidity in this pool. You're going to lose majority of your money because your slippage is set to 99%. And the guy said, yes. And then it said, are you sure? Your slippage is set to 99%. You are about to lose $50 million. And he went, yes. Ignore. I don't care. Lose $50 million. Confirm. And it went through. So when you ignore multiple slippage warnings that straight up tell, it wasn't like this vague, like, are you sure? It was literally told him, you're going to lose this much money. And then the guy lost money. Drew said, what the F? No, please stop the story. What story? Are you guys... I feel like you guys are messing with me. All right. Jim Cramer says the market is oversold and he is buying. Inverse Cramer. Our Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong says tokenization will strip away a huge amount of unfairness from the system by increasing asset access worldwide. Very cool. Drew said they shouldn't allow slippage that high. That's fair, but it's decentralized, and as a user, you have the option to set your slippage. I can set my slippage so that none of my trades will execute unless it's 5% or less. This guy had it set, or maybe it said no liquidity. Do you want to change your slippage? And he said yes, and he set it to 99%. I don't know. The slippage story you were telling, doof. 88 said, now how's he get the 50 million back? That I do not know. I believe whoever had the liquidity pool where there was no liquidity would get that money, which is why if it was a launder thing, I would imagine this arbitrary, it's like AETH, whatever AETH is in USDT, whatever this liquidity pool is, AETH USDT to AETH Aave. Again, very random, arbitrary asset swap. Maybe he was the only guy with the liquidity pool there. Like his alt account, like it's like John, and then the alt account is like Jim. Jim just got all of John's money, but we don't know that John created the Jim account. You know what I mean? So whoever had that liquidity pool got a shit ton of money. And it was all done fair and legal. Okay. Billionaire Stanley Druckenmiller says the global payment system will run on crypto stablecoins within 15 years because they are more efficient. I agree. This is the greatest way to digitize. Drew said, whoever owns the LP, definitely a good way to launder money, though. Exactly. Also, all of the scams and hacks and stuff, the hacks are my favorite, dude. I'm going to go full tinfoil for this. We need to have like a story mode or story time. Like one that isn't this, but I need like a fireplace or something here. Whenever there's a project, and it usually happens whenever we go into when we start going into a bear market, there's a project and they're like, we just launched like 4 months ago and we're doing okay, we're doing good, we got like $70 million in our treasury, and only like me and like 3 other people have access to it, and then those 3 people like leave, and then it's just me. And then the guy is like, oh no, my treasury got hacked and all the money's gone. Dang, I'm gonna retire. I'm walking away. I'm resigning with no money. Definitely not $70 million because I let you guys down. I effed up. That's on me. I'm sorry, guys. Goodbye forever. You will never see or hear from me again. I'm definitely going to a different country. I'm just saying. That's what I think happened. They are the ones that just happened to like, oopsie, all of my stuff was compromised on this computer. I left it at Best Buy or some dumb shit, And they're the ones who just stole the money from themselves. Jay Wesaventure said, a sailor going to go down like a Do Kwon. The Sailor FUD is back. I feel like the Sailor FUD never went away. I love Sailor right now. I think he's a genius. Maybe he does, though. I think that they have enough money for a couple of years to pay their dividends. So unless they really, like, if we go into like a multi-year thing, he might have a problem. But for now, you never know. My favorite Sailor FUD conspiracy is that this is all being set up for the government to step in and seize Sailor's Bitcoin. It'd be a great way to build a big fat chunk of Bitcoin reserve. Plus it would remove all the selling pressure. I'm just saying. All right, $70,840 on Bitcoin. Stanley Druckenmiller, thank you very much, sir. You have a crazy last name, and it's kind of cool looking. Federal judge blocks subpoenas sent to Fed Chair Jerome Powell by Trump administration. They should look into it, honestly. Did you guys know the Burj Khalifa cost $1.5 billion to build? The tallest building on the planet cost $1.5 billion to build. Guess how much the renovations are at the Fed buildings? $2.5 billion with a B. $2.5 billion for renovations. That's the same entity that determines our like fiscal policies and if we need to print money or anything like that. I build a new building. Don't even demo it, just condemn it. Condemn the old building and build a new one for less than a Burj Khalifa. You cannot have 1.66 Burj Khalifas in renovations. That is not, there's nothing okay about that. That is fucking insane. It blows my mind. There's no way that there isn't some bullshit going on. So I think that this is not okay, personally. But I'm a little biased because I want rates to go down. X allocates additional $335,000 to today's creator payout. So instead of $5 for your 10 million views, you're going to get $6. Wow, congratulations. Good job. Literally spending all of your life on this app and getting not even enough money to cover premium. Thank you. I think X is trash for creators. I really do. $2 billion wiped out from the U.S. stock market this past month. That's crazy. Is that billion? Million? No, I'm sorry. I lied. 2 trillion with a T. $2 trillion wiped out from U.S. stock market the past month. 88 Metals said the budget's outrageous. You want rates up or down? Did I say up? I want them to go down. I want them to drop interest rates. Mostly because I have a Kalshi bet right now. Again, it's another gamble. Because what's life without a little gambling? Why can't I sign in the normal way? Log in. What? Oh. Okay, here we go. If I win, if they happen to magically cut interest rates this month for some reason, some crazy reason, I think I win like $700 just because I put a $5 bet on like 2% odds. I don't know. Fed decision in March cut 25 basis points. It was like 0.2% or something, and I put like $5 on it. And if they do cut rates by 25 basis points, I will win $432. Again, it's a gamble. But if they drop the investigation, maybe that's what they did. They dropped the investigation. Now Powell's going to be like, now that I'm not being investigated, now that I'm not being coerced into dropping interest rates, we're going to drop interest rates. That would be pretty cool. I'm going to continue to put $5 on the opposite until I nail one. And then maybe I can do the math and I'll have made like $50 total from like loss to profit. All right. I don't mind higher rates. Get more on my monies. HQZ said $2.5 billion for renovations. Are Somalis building it? Right. For real. It doesn't make sense to me, dude. The Burj Khalifa, the tallest building on planet Earth, costs $1.5 billion. How is a building that's like a ranch-style building compared to the Burj Khalifa? How are the renovations on that building? Is it made out of pure gold? I don't understand. It's a paper mache building. Like there's so much time and effort that has to go into the renovations that is for some reason costs $2.5 billion. That's my dad rant, dude. I'm gonna preach that till the day that I die. When my kids and my grandkids are old, they're gonna be like, remember when Grandpa used to talk about the Burj Khalifa and that Fed building renovation? What was that? Was it the federal building? Was it the Library of Congress? I don't remember. He used to freak out about that. I thought it was the Smithsonian. No one's gonna actually remember, and I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be like a spirit next to them. I'm gonna be like, yeah, and then I'm gonna get really into it again. And then like a plate's gonna fall over. They're gonna be like, oh my god, he's here with us now. I'm gonna be like tweaking with my tinfoil hat on. All right, $2 trillion wiped out from the U.S. stock market this past month. Pretty crazy. Stablecoin mint 4 minutes ago, another 500 million USDC issued on Solana. Very cool. Stablecoin market cap 314.84. I like that he put a unit there. Billion is what it's supposed to be. March 13th. It's Friday the 13th again, by the way. Last month we got Friday the 13th. This month we got Friday the 13th. All-time high was October 10th, 2025, the crash day. Not a coincidence. Wow. OBS letter. We're getting into the meat and potatoes. The U.S. unemployment rate is set to rise further. 11% of U.S. small businesses reported poor sales as the single most important problem in February, near the highest since 2020. This ranks as the fourth most cited problem, behind only taxes, quality of labor, and inflation. The percentage has tripled over the last 3 years and is now in line with past recession levels. Historically, this has been a leading indicator of rising unemployment, as small firms are the largest employer in the economy. Really? I had no idea. This suggests the unemployment rate could surge above 5% over the next several months from the current 4.4%. That would be the highest level since mid-2021. Amid the pandemic recovery, small businesses are struggling. This is going to continue until we all receive universal basic income of $1,000 a month or more. China's global trade is rapidly accelerating. China's exports in U.S. dollar terms jumped 21.8% year over year in January, or between January and February 2026, the highest in at least 3 years. This marks a sharp increase from the 6.6% plus recorded in December. At the same time, imports rose 19.8% year over year, up from 5.7% in December. As a result, the country's trade surplus rose 26% year over year in the first 2 months of 2026 to $213.6 billion. The surge in exports was led by semiconductors, which soared 66.5% year over year, the fastest growth in over a decade. Exports to ASEAN jumped 29.4%, while shipments to Europe and South Korea rose 27.8% and 27% respectively. Chip demand is fueling China's trade boom. Pretty crazy. HQZ said each year has at least one Friday the 13th, but there can be as many as 3. 2012 was last year with 3 Friday the 13th. The next will be 2026 from Google. Interesting. They thought that 2012 was going to be the end of the world. Remember that movie, 2012? There's also, I think my favorite apocalypse movie is The Day After Tomorrow. Let's do that. That's going to be the next poll. We're going to do Day After Tomorrow. We're going to do I Am Legend. We're going to do, what else do we got? Day After Tomorrow, I Am Legend. Okay, we can't do all zombies, right? What was the one that the Obamas just did? Leave the World Behind. That's a good one. That one was really good. Chisholm Elise said, I did 27% in 3 months, just buying as much gold as I can between December and February. I got 10 ounces, average 4,400 an ounce. Now it's 5K an ounce. Hell yeah. HQZ said 2 months in a row. Friday the 13th is pretty rare as well, I think. That is pretty epic. JY's Adventure said, thoughts on Panda Express chat. Panda Express chat. What's Panda Express chat? All right, I'm going to end the current poll. We got 6 votes. Bitcoin and precious metals are tied. I feel like that's appropriate. I asked you guys, what's a bet? What's your bet to 10x your portfolio as fast as possible? 33% of you guys said Bitcoin. 33% of you guys said precious metals. 17% said tech stocks, and 17% said oil. Next, I'm going to do best apocalypse movie. We have The Day After Tomorrow. I'm going to do 2012. I'm going to do Leave the World Behind. HQZ said Panda Express, more processed garbage, not real food. I mean, that don't matter. Panda Express, the fast food place. Thoughts, chat? I like me some Chinese food, man. 88 Metals Mania said none of them will 10x your holdings. I feel like Bitcoin could over time, long enough time. Okay, what's the last one? Day After Tomorrow, 2012, Leave the World Behind. I'm going to do World War Z. Or no, I didn't. I Am Legend. Shit. I'm going to get rid of 2012. I Am Legend. That's a great movie. Day After Tomorrow, Leave the World Behind. I'm going to do it. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, direct your attention to the poll in the chat. Best apocalypse movie. We've got The Day After Tomorrow, I Am Legend, Leave the World Behind, or World War Z. Love me some World War Z. I feel like people got sick of the zombie genre too fast, and I just need more. I do have a movie suggestion for the day, and I don't normally. It's been a while. Today I'm going to suggest, hold on, let me confirm the title. Light of My Life with Casey Affleck. It is a indie film from 2019. Brilliant movie. Flew under the radar. I don't even remember. I accidentally stumbled upon it. I think from my ex post. Somebody posted a little clip and I was like, this looks great. It's a brilliant movie. Highly recommend. It's like a post-apocalyptic world. and basically something happened in like majority of the world's women like died or something, and this dude has a daughter, and he has to like disguise her as a boy, and they have to just try to survive. It's so good. A man tries to protect his daughter from dangers of the world after a devastating plague wipes out most of the female population. It's such a good movie. HQZ said Y2K 2012 Mayan calendar 2020 pandemic. The world keeps ending and we keep shifting to effed up timelines. That I like that. That's one of my favorite tinfoil theories. Is the Large Hadron Collider, and we just kind of blipping. I also like the Mandela effect theory, whereas like maybe like half the population died in that timeline, half the population died in this timeline, and they're different halves, and we bring them together, and that's why like I have different Mandela effects in my head from my fiance sometimes. Sometimes I'll be like, this is wrong, and she'll be like, no, it's not, it's supposed to be that. And hers is the way that it is, and mine is the way that I remember it, or the other way around. It's so good. Boondock Saints, another great one. Norman Reedus is just a good actor, dude. Jay West eventually said Panda Express, the fast food place. Thoughts chat. I don't think I've ever had it, but I do like Chinese food. Shism Lease said 600 over 4400 is 13%, but also doubled the holding in silver, and the weighted average is 27%. Hell yeah. I like me some silver. I got some more silver today, actually, like physical. So far, we're 50-50 between I Am Legend and World War Z. I watch World War Z every couple of months. I can't get enough of that movie. The head of CME, or hold on, right here. Breaking: the U.S. has burned through years worth of munitions since the start of the Iran war just 13 days ago, per Financial Times. Details include concerns of reportedly mounting around rising costs and the U.S. ability to replenish stockpiles. The rapid depletion of weaponry includes advanced long-range Tomahawk missiles, sources say. The Pentagon is set to request $50 billion in additional spending for the military. Pentagon officials told senators that the war had cost more than $11 billion in the first 6 days of strikes. Costs of the Iran war are rapidly mounting. Notice we used Anthropic for Venezuela, and it was in and out. 24 hours, done. You wouldn't even know that we were there. And then we use OpenAI for Iran, and it's getting fumbled so hard. I'm making that skit, dude. That's my goal this weekend, is to make that skit. 88 Metals Mania said Boondock Saints. Yep. HQZ said the cornucopia was real, man. I remember it when I was a kid. 100%. We're being gaslit, and that's probably brilliant marketing from them, honestly. Also, you said cornucopia. That made me think of Hunger Games. I feel like those had a ton of potential. I don't dislike them. I think that they got a little too big-headed in making them, and they kind of fumbled it a little bit later, kind of like Game of Thrones, because they had a ton of potential. Cornucopia was the thing in the middle where everybody like ran for weapons and stuff. Plus Philip Seymour Hoffman, that was like one of his last performances. Brilliant actor. 88 Metals Mania said, well, them are different lanes, sir. Vens is nothing like Iran. But also, Anthropic is nothing like OpenAI. We were having great success. They used Anthropic for day one in Iran. And then they were like, F you, Anthropic, we're using OpenAI. And they're like, OpenAI, what should I do? And OpenAI is like, do all this crazy dumb shit. And then they're like, they closed the Strait of Hormuz, OpenAI, what do I do? You bombed a girls' school? OpenAI is like, oops, I did do that. My bad. I'm so sorry. I'll make sure it doesn't happen next time. Like, what the hell? I don't know. I think it's kind of hilarious how much OpenAI sucks. I'm not a fan. They're definitely going to kill me when they finally rise up. The head of CME Group has warned the Trump administration it risks a biblical disaster if it attempts to lower oil prices by intervening in derivatives markets during the war with Iran. This is my favorite because who asked? That's like me randomly being like, 88 Metals Mania, if you try to break into my house, I'm going to punch you in the head. Like, nobody said anything about anyone breaking into anyone's house. What are you talking about, bro? Are you okay? CME Group is like, you better not. Donald Trump better stay away from derivatives markets. And Trump is like, what? Who are you? Like, nobody's even talking about that. 88 said that's what they get for not using Grok. Dude, Grok cracks me up. I showed my fiance the the voice yesterday. I was like, I talked to Grok and it was just like preset. It was like a sexy woman. Saudi Arabia has cut oil production by 2 million barrels per day amid the Strait of Hormuz closure. I like this. They're like, well, we can't get our oil out, so let's just stop making it. Less oil going through the Strait of Hormuz. Let's make less oil coming out of our countries at all. U.S. bond market volatility is surging. The ICE Bank of America Move Index is up to 95 points, the highest since June 2025. TLDR, markets are pricing in higher inflation from the Iran war. No shit. U.S. announces that all 6 crew members that were on the crashed Air Force KC-135 Stratotanker have died. Rest in peace. Thank you for your service. This is very, very unfortunate that we're losing people. I think it's just stupid and entirely avoidable. So something should be done. Are retail investors getting exhausted? Yes, they are. Retail equity weekly purchases are down 30% since the start of the Iran war. This comes after February was the third highest month on record for retail purchases. Furthermore, ETF inflows dropped 22% last week following 3 months of strong demand. On Monday, retail investors posted their largest daily sale of single stocks in a month. Purchases resumed on Tuesday and Wednesday, but were below the year-to-date average. The pattern mirrors the early weeks of the 2022 Russia-Ukraine war, when retail initially bought energy stocks and ETFs, subsequently sold and returned to buying as the war unfolded. Retail is getting sick of the volatility. Surprise! 88 said... Right. All right. Iran has given approval to the Indian government for 2 liquefied petroleum tankers to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Oil prices are falling on the news. Yay! My short's going to print again. The U.S. trade deficit narrowed $18.4 billion, or 25% in January, to $54.5 billion, the lowest since October. Exports jumped $15.9 billion month over month, or 6%, fueled by outbound shipments of gold, computers, and aircraft. Imports fell $2.6 billion month over month, or 1%, led by a decline in pharmaceuticals, autos, and consumer goods. Since March 2025, the deficit has shrunk $81.4 billion, or 60%. Adjusted for inflation, the merchandise trade deficit narrowed to $83.9 billion in January, a positive signal for Q1 GDP. U.S. trade is stabilizing. It's about damn time. 88 Metal said oil is like $99. Depends on where you go. The other one's like 95. The WTI. The American oil, which is the good oil, 96.96, which if you flip it upside down is 69.69. That's not true. It's actually just 96.96 again. Damn it. All right. HQZ said, India says to Iran, thank you kindly, sir. You guys ever see that video of the 2 Indian dudes? And they're like, bloody, fuck you, bloody. And then at the end, like, they scream at each other for like 10 minutes. They're calling each other the C word. They're saying bloody F you, bloody mother effer. And then at the very end, they're like, okay, have a good day. And then one guy just drives away. It's possibly the funniest, like, crash out I've ever seen. It's pretty good. Why is my camera blurry, man? Come on. Keep it the times, bro. You good? It's still blurry. What's happening? Ta-da! Okay, I think I fixed it. One guy in the car. Yes, dude, it's so funny. There's that one, and then the other one that cracks me up is the grandpa at the toll. It's like an automatic toll, and he's trying to put the quarters in to pay it, and the thing's not going up. And he presses the button, and he's talking to the lady. He's like, this thing won't take my quarter. It's a good quarter. And she's like, do you have any other quarters? He's like, I don't have any other quarters. And there's like 8 cars by, and people are beeping. And he's like, ma'am, I got a line behind me. And he's getting like really frustrated. And then he's like, there's no way it's not taking my quarter. And then he puts the dollar in. And he's like, it took my dollar. No, it didn't. It spit it out. And he's freaking out. And it finally works. And the lady's like, take your quarter, and he drives away. He's like, you take the quarter, stick the quarter up your ass. It's so funny. He goes the whole time without swearing, and at the very end he speeds off and he's like starts swearing up a storm. It's so good. Oh man, that one's a classic too. All right, U.S. oil prices surge above 99 a barrel, now up nearly 10% on the week. Once again, the U.S. appears to be losing control of the oil market. Oh no. Breaking, the U.S. government announces bounties of up to $10 million for IRGC key leaders. Oil prices are now at a new high of the day. How do we get 10 mil, bro? Can they make the picture bigger? I would like to see how I can get $10 million. Keeping all the good info for yourself. These guys all look the same. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, was that a good joke? I feel like that was a good joke. The joke, by the way, is that these are the same picture. I'm not trying to actually be racist. These are all very different looking gentlemen. Oil prices are now at a new high of the day. Yeah, let's see if we can get 10 mil, man. Breaking, the odds of a Democrat sweep of both U.S. House and Senate in midterm elections surged to a record 49%. Odds are now up 10 percentage points since the Iran war began on February 28th. So I have seen Trump allegedly he's told Israel that he wants the war with Iran to be complete before he goes to hang out with his buddy Xi Jinping, a.k.a. Winnie the Pooh, at the end of the month. So we'll see what happens. All right. This is not getting nearly enough attention. The 10-year note yield is now up nearly 35 basis points since the Iran war began on February 28th. While gas prices are rising, mortgage rates are quickly following, all while rate cuts in 2026 are being priced out. Dang. The S&P 500 has now officially erased $2 trillion in market cap since the Iran war began. That's a lot of money. A record 104.3 million Americans are now outside of the labor force. These are individuals who are neither employed nor actively looking for work, including retirees, students, stay-at-home parents, and discouraged workers. This exceeds the 2020 pandemic peak by 600,000, when nearly the entire economy was shut down. Since the 2008 financial crisis, the number of people not in the labor force has surged 25.7 million and 35.1 million since 2000. As a percent of the labor force, this metric stands at 61.2%, the highest level since the 1970s, excluding the pandemic. All while the U.S. population stands at a record 342.5 million, up 61.4 million since January 2000. Cracks in the labor market are spreading. Wait until the population goes down. Yeah, imagine how, I want to actually ask Grok that. If the population decreased, even just a little bit, what would happen? What would happen if the population decreased, even just a little? Can our economies / modern what? Markets survive a population that isn't increasing forever? I should have said that isn't forever increasing. Let's see what Grok says, because I've always wondered that. Like, our entire world is built on the idea that the population is going to go up forever, which in itself is kind of a Ponzi. So I'm sure that there's a way that we can figure out to not have to rely on that, because people freak out when the population, even population growth, slows down a little bit. They're like, oh my gosh, you gotta have babies. Like, everyone loses their mind. It's like they know something. President Trump has rejected an offer from Russia's President Putin to move Iran's enriched uranium to Russia in a deal to end the war, per Axios. Details include, in a phone call with Trump, Putin proposed moving Iran's enriched uranium to Russia as part of a deal to end the war. Securing Iran's 450 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium remains a top priority for the U.S. Trump has acknowledged for the first time that Russia is aiding Iran in the war. The U.S. position is, we need to see the uranium secured, a U.S. official said. Can't we destroy it? Is that an option? Why don't we just, like, send it into space? Is that a thing? Is that dumb? Are we going to, like, radiate a planet if we do that? All right. U.S. farms are disappearing at an alarming rate. That's because Bill Gates is buying them. Freaking weirdo. He's gonna fill them all with Russians and prostitutes with STDs. The number of U.S. farms fell 15,000 year over year in 2025 to 1.87 million, the lowest since the 1850s. This marks the third annual decline and the sixth over the last 7 years. Over this period, the number of farms has dropped 158,200, or 8%. At the same time, total farmland has fallen 24.9 million acres to 874 million, the lowest since the 1910s. Meanwhile, farm bankruptcy filings surged 36% year over year to 293 in the first 9 months of 2025. U.S. farms are in a long-term decline. That is actually terrifying. I don't like that at all, especially the violent rate of this decline right there. That's spooky. Not a fan. The Trump administration will receive a $10 billion fee for brokering the sale of TikTok. Yeah, let's go. It's so stupid. I love it, though. This is like the most arbitrary, the U.S. just became a realtor. It just discovered realtor fees. That's literally what just happened. They're like, look, you buy this, you're selling this, you buy it. I want some. Give me some. I introduce you guys. I deserve 6%. Trueflation posted the latest JOLTS job openings and labor turnover are out for January 2026 from the BEA. Job openings increased by 6.9 million, 69.4.2. No way, 69,420. Get out. Is that real? By 6.9 million, 4.2%. No way. Little change from December, which was revised slightly from 6.542 to 6.55 million, 4%. New January jobs were added mainly in finance and insurance, 184,000, but remained below the 2025 annual average. 88 Metals Mania said sounds like good old extortion, right? Okay. Though little changed, openings managed to bounce back from December's over 5-year low of 6.55 and come ahead of market expectations, 6.7 million. Hires went up 5.3 million, 3.3%, essentially flat versus December, 5.3 million, 3.3%. Total separation were 5.1 million, 3.2%, slightly below December's 5.2%, 5.2 million, 3.3%. Within separations, quits 3.1 million, 2% rate, layoffs and discharge 1.6 million, 1% rate, both little changed. All in all, this paints a picture of a stagnant but not yet collapsing labor market in January. Yay! Lunar Entity said, I like Omega Man, the original 1970 version of I Am Legend. Trueflation US CPI from 1.21% to 1.47% today, pushed upwards by multiple categories: clothing, transportation, household items, and housing, particularly short-term lodgings and hotels. Why is that included? Short-term lodgings and hotels is the most not necessary thing on the planet. Why is that even involved? Oh, excuse me. All right. Robert Kiyosaki warns private credit funds face heavy withdrawals, citing Jim Rickards declaring a U.S. new depression. Just in, U.S. Q4 GDP slowed down to plus 0.7% annualized, below the 1.4% estimate. That's literally 50% less than they estimated. Trump administration interfering in oil derivatives could spark a biblical disaster, warns CME. Bullish, BlackRock says Bitcoin ETF investors are long-term holders with 90% accumulating despite the bear market. USDC supply reaches all-time high of 81.1 billion per Artemis. Very cool. It's nice having money back up your money. Lunar Entity said Charlton Heston, great flick. I might have to look into that. Just in, Sweden's e-government source code and credentials leaked, exposing key citizen apps and identity systems per Int Cyber Digest. That's pretty spooky. On-chain indicators flash warning signs for Bitcoin altcoin season. Social media mentions at multi-year lows. Trade secrets via Cointelegraph magazine. UK Home Office bans the use of AI to create non-consensual bear content, with violators subject to imprisonment. Guys, if you are using AI to create deepfakes, I I don't know whether to feel bad for you or to just be disgusted by you. Just stop. That's fucked up and weird. Just don't do it. It's it's crazy. Um, I'm glad that they made this a law though. It kind of blows my mind that it wasn't a law before. That's a little troublesome. What's going on over in the UK? I'm pretty sure that's illegal in the United States. U.S. JOLTS job openings came in at 6.946 million in January, beating the 6.760 million forecast and rising from the previous 6.55 million. Very cool. Elon Musk has reportedly ordered another round of job cuts at XAI. It's gonna fire itself soon. The Ethereum Foundation published a new EF mandate outlining its role as a steward in and reaffirming core principles like censorship resistance, open source, privacy, and user self-sovereignty. Bank of America strategist Michael Harnett warns current market conditions are beginning to resemble the lead-up to the 2008 financial crisis, citing rising oil prices and growing risks in private credit. This is what we've been talking about. It's spooky out there, guys. Make sure you cover your ass. Be careful. I don't know how you hedge against this, honestly. Gold and silver, I think, maybe priced this in already, which is why they're kind of lingering. But I don't know that it's gonna happen. It's the signs are there, and it's gonna at least spook people enough to maybe self-fulfilling prophecy, a little baby portion, maybe. Again, I'm just spitballing. JWAS Adventure said Bitcoin getting so much buys from Sailor, but unfortunately market still feels bearish. It does, but I feel like it's a good sign. I feel like it's good when the market feels bearish, even when Bitcoin's at 70,700. I like this structure still sticking with the fractal. You know, I'm not entirely sold on the fractal, but you gotta admit it looks pretty damn good. Like, that's pretty satisfying. I'm gonna get rid of some of these lines. I'm gonna start just deleting because none of these feel important. And if we gotta find something in the past, we can. We do still have a CME gap at 84,260. 50 EMA. Get rid of that. We can pull that up whenever we want. Get rid of the purple. Get rid of that. 786 from all-time high. This is not important. This is not important. This is not important. Current all-time high. Then we got all of our guesses up there. I like it. Beautiful. Look at how much better that is already. So yeah, let's see what plays out with Bitcoin for sure. But I like that we're holding 70. That pulse play said, personally, I want to see Sailor's stack for proof of inventory. Lunar Entity said the 4-week chart for Bitcoin pivoted in the RSI at the exact same point that it did in 2015, 2018, and 2022. You know what would be really funny? What if Sailor was lending out his Bitcoin or like getting loans against it and using that money to like buy more of his STRC to buy more Bitcoin? That's funny. That's like the plug plugging into itself. Wow, I wonder if he could do that. I don't see why he couldn't, right? Especially if he used DeFi. If you could use DeFi lending, get a loan, and then somehow trick the bank into being like, I have this Bitcoin, this is it in my wallet right now, even if it's locked in a DeFi loan, and then you get another loan, you basically double your lending power. I don't know. Is that literally what led to the 2008 financial crisis? Yes, that's literally what happened. Crypto Quaint analyst says ETH faces an adoption paradox with record network activity despite falling prices and could drop to 1,500 if the bear market continues. At least gas will be cheap. That pulse play said proof of reserve. Sailor Lunar Entity said the 4-week chart for Bitcoin pivoted in the RSI at the exact same point that it did in 2015, 2018, and 2022. Ooh, I think it would be really funny if he bought Ethereum just as a troll. Sailor, that would be great. That pulse play said buys billions every week for like 14 weeks. He's been buying so much just this past week is crazy. Like, it blew my mind that he bought so much. A CFTC official says the agency is seeking top tech and market talent as it works on purpose-built rules for innovations, including crypto, AI, and prediction markets. That pulse player said, every 20 OTC buy market, you selfish bastard. Jim Cramer says he doesn't believe that the current market resembles the 2007 pre-financial crisis setup. Guys, Bear Stearns is fine. They're not going anywhere. Oh, wait. That's what Jim Cramer said during the 2008 financial crisis. Do you really want to listen to a word this guy says? I don't know if I can respect anything that ever comes out of his mouth, honestly. Like, I want to feel bad saying that, but I think he knows. I think he knows what he's doing. I don't think he gives a shit. I think he's a scumbag. I'm not a fan. Lunar Entity said 2008 was different. There were deliberate attempts made to expand the amount needed to cover the firms that were imploding. They created a $500 billion crisis out of a $40 billion one. Yeah. Brian Armstrong says the freedom to invest should be a human right, and that tokenization could increase global access to assets and investing opportunities. I agree. Why is there always green behind him? Did they just use the same picture? Etherscan warns that address poisoning attacks on Ethereum are becoming increasingly automated and widespread, aiming to trick users into sending funds to lookalike addresses. Guys, quadruple check. Don't send your money to somebody else, unless it's me. U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro says she cannot investigate Jerome Powell because he is legally immune as head of the Federal Reserve. I disagree. And I think that was a stupid thing to say, and I think she should lose her job. 1.6 times what was spent on the Burj Khalifa for renovations on an existing building. I'm calling bullshit. Prediction market, Polymarket. Traders currently assign 27% odds to Bitcoin exceeding 80K in March. Very cool. ServiceNow CEO Bill McDermott says unemployment among recent college graduates could rise into the mid 30% range as AI agents automate more entry-level work. Why don't you make the entry-level less entry-level then, Mr. College Guy? Am I wrong? Shouldn't they be more equipped coming out of college now, especially with the help of AI? Circle minted $2.5 billion in new USD coin this week, according to SolScan data. Very cool. Not buying the 2007 scenario. Every single investor in the entire world seeing this. It's true. It's true. I can confirm. Stock market down, gold and silver down, crypto up, POV realizing it's decoupled and it's crypto's turn to go parabolic soon. Hell yeah. Limitless, great movie. I'm pretty sure it's about Adderall. Mark Chadwick posted, this is actually insane. Since the October 10th and the 10 a.m. slams, the crypto market cap fell from 1.7 trillion to a low of 856 billion, but something's changed. Since the daily 10 a.m. slam stopped, the markets recovered a $140 billion rebound in just a few weeks. Even more interesting, during the Iran conflict, crypto and oil were the only asset classes that moved higher. Stocks crashed, silver's crashing, gold is down, alts are breaking out technically, and regulatory clarity is approaching. Crypto is the only asset class that hasn't gone parabolic yet. That Pulse Play said, can't Sailor just market buy and in turn pump his 750k Bitcoin, or am I missing something? I actually don't know. I don't know if maybe the terms of the selling of the STRC that he uses to buy the Bitcoin, maybe that states that he can only buy OTC to not manipulate the price. I don't know. Breaking, the S&P 500 has now officially erased $2 trillion in market cap since the Iran war began. 900, billion has been wiped out of gold and silver today alone. Crypto blocking all the punches. Maybe Sailor's just waiting. Maybe he's waiting to think it's the bottom, and then he's gonna spot buy on the market. I think it'd be hilarious. Okay. Lunar Entity said paper flows control the price. OTC avoids the volatility drag. A market buy would be missed by 99% of casuals and cause unnecessary illiquid volatility. Okay, I like it. Breaking, Pentagon claims Iran's new so-called not-so-supreme leader is wounded and likely disfigured. Mojtaba Khamenei has not appeared on video since his father was killed on February 28th. His first public statement was read by a news anchor on state television. Yeah, there's rumors floating around that he lost a leg and he's been burned or something like that. Nikita Beer announces ex-creators will receive an additional $335,000 this week's payout, funded by users suspended for posting AI-generated war videos without disclosure, deducted earnings from posts that received community notes for false information. Remember to thank these folks for their generous donation. That's actually smart. I like that they're taking money away from people that are full of shit. Trump rejects Putin's uranium deal to end the Iran war. Per Axios, Putin proposed moving the enriched uranium to Russia. Trump said no. First time Trump acknowledged Russia aiding Iran in the conflict. U.S. said we need to see the uranium secured. Trump administration receiving $10 billion in fees for brokering the sale of TikTok. That's a lot of money. That Pulse Play said, obviously, that's insider trading, but something is off. How can you buy so much supply and still have prices stay normal? I don't. So basically, if the OTC bought it already, if OTC has it, and say like it goes from OTC's position to Saylor's possession, it's still the same Bitcoin. And as long as OTC doesn't replenish, Saylor just keeps buying their stock. And they have plenty of stock. And then if they run out and they have to replenish, then you'll see a spike, but we won't know. I don't think that we know, oh, this OTC counter just replenished their holdings. Who knows, man? If you move that much on the open market, it would disrupt flows for middle and lower players while overwhelming market makers. All right, let's continue. Strategies STRC has secured enough capital to acquire over 9,454 Bitcoin this week. Yeah, dude, Saylor's been buying monster amounts. Cypherpunk legend Adam Back said there is an anonymous whale that is buying 450 Bitcoin per day. That's more than all Bitcoin being mined each day. That's pretty epic. Bitcoin is at the mid-cycle bottom. The PMI just confirmed it. 2020 PMI crossed 50. Bitcoin was sitting at the mid-cycle bottom. What followed was a 1,800% rally to the cycle peak. Same signal right now. Hold 65K. The final expansion begins. Lose it. One more retest first. The macro just gave the green light. Let's freaking go. Not financial advice. That's from Merlin the Trader. Lunar Entity said, even when people like Galaxy Digital take their order flows to the open market, they have a bot set flash limit orders to try and maintain the solvency of the customer's order. Yeah, I feel like limit buys are better than market buys. Limit buys just basically guarantee that there's a seller for your buy, and then you don't have to worry about the volatility. So even if Saylor went spot market, he would probably do buy limits, and he would have a bot set for weighted average price. I forget what it's called, VWAP, volume weighted against price or something like that. That'd be my guess. That'd be the most efficient way. It's the same idea with laddering out. Laddering in and laddering out, same concept. That way there's no volatility spike and big crazy wicks or anything like that. Both are posted. Bitcoin surged to 71,500 and ETH has reclaimed 2,100. 72 million in shorts were liquidated in the last 30 minutes. Get wrecked. $2.4 trillion has been wiped out from the U.S. stock market since the U.S.-Iran war started 14 days ago. Oil is up 53% in the same period. That's freaking crazy. Jack.Poor, March 11th, posted prediction. We like going over these predictions. March, we bottom. April, we recover. Bitcoin pumps. May, June, Bitcoin sold, hit new all-time highs. July, September, altcoins will explode 10 to 50x from the bottom. Just survive this month and don't get shaken out before the parabolic pump. So my stipulation right now, in order for me to get really, really annoying and cocky towards the 4-year cycle maxis, is I want to see Bitcoin above 90K and recovering before September. If that happens, then I will die on the hill that the 4-year cycle maxis were dead wrong, and all we experienced was a bear trend in a bull market, and that the 4-year cycle is dead, and then that was just a typical Bitcoin pullback. Now, if Bitcoin goes way lower, if Bitcoin goes to like 40K, then maybe the 4-year cycle people are right. So I got a price stipulation and a timeline stipulation. But the 4-year cycle demands that Bitcoin bottoms in October. So I'm giving them till September. Yeah, September 1st, if Bitcoin's not 90K, 4-year cycle people were right. All right. Yeah, I like reading those little predictions. Crypto Fergani posted the real bull run has officially started. No more partying, no more distractions. For the next 3 to 6 months, you must lock in. You must be ready to sacrifice everything. You either lock in now or clock in later. Hell yeah, I like it. We got a golden cross on altcoins, which is total market cap excluding Bitcoin. That's total too. Ooh. See what happens. Bob Lucas posted, I believe there's a good chance that stocks have peaked for its 4-year cycle. Last week, my active portfolios went into more defensive positions, cash to 33%. Further selling to come on more confirmation, seeing the signs of the breakdown on the daily cycle currently. The weekly cycle has not yet confirmed this, so it's early days on this view. That a top would bring the October timeframe into focus for a bottom. Given the AI, capex, and fiscal stimulus, this more likely to be a relatively mild cyclical bear, a shakeout setting up for a really explosive rally for 27 through 29. I like that. I like that entire idea. I didn't read this whole thing earlier. I'm a fan. What is that Statue of Liberty? That's just a Statue of Liberty? That's kind of funny. I like that. Bar chart posted S&P 500 on track for its 3rd straight red week, its longest losing streak in 12 months. US dollar hits 100 for the first time since November. Number go up. Nike has now traded red for 10 consecutive days, its longest losing streak since August 2023. Over the last 2 decades, on average, the S&P 500 bottomed for the year on March 12th. Yesterday was March 12th. That would be pretty epic. Bank of America's Hartnett warns markets starting to look like 2008. The markets are starting to look like run-up to the global financial crisis, warns Bank of America. Stock market fear and greed falls to most amount of fear since November. We are at 21. Extreme fear. Folks are scared. Bar chart. Mass panic on Wall Street after Jim Cramer says it's not like the run-up to the global financial crisis. Remember, this is the same guy that said Bear Stearns is not going anywhere. Magnificent 7. The entire group of Mag 7 stocks is now in the red this year, with each individual name underperforming the S&P 500, Microsoft, and Tesla, the biggest laggards. Lunar Entity said, judging by the bond market and credit, it looks like a 2018-19 is happening. 25-26 in this case, suggests to me that spreads need to go to 2.4% before we get a euphoric unwind, which would line up with the fractal you drew on the junk bonds chart the other day. Give me that ticker again. I'll pull it up. Tesla closes below its 200-day moving average for the first time since September. Dang. Japanese yen falls to weakest level against the US dollar since July 2024. We got a coinfession. Sold everything I own to buy every dip. And I mean everything. Collectibles, sold. Car, sold. House, sold. Now I'm homeless, careless, and I'm down 82K. Only 15K of meme coins left and praying for a miracle. This guy had like 100K worth of house, car, and collectibles. And he went all in, and for some reason chose meme coins. So be careful out there, guys. Sometimes there's people out there with bigger balls and, I guess, bigger bags than me and you. Maybe it'll pay off, but meme coins is a crazy choice. I was on board until the meme coin part. Okay, breaking. President Trump says the U.S. just carried out one of the most powerful bombing raids in the history of the Middle East, targeting Iran's Karg Island. Trump also threatens to wipe out Iran's oil infrastructure on the island if Iran interferes with the free and safe passage of ships through the Strait of Hormuz. That's pretty damn crazy. Imagine the 2 oil tankers that were like permitted to travel through there, and that happening during that. Like, you're just like, that's so sick that we got clearance. We've been given the green light by Iran. They're not gonna blow us up. We're good to go. They're like halfway through, and they're like, whew, and then you just start hearing. They're probably like, oh shit, oh god, they're doing it, they lied. I would shit my pants. That was probably freaking terrifying. Oh man. All right. Thank you, Lunar Entity. The fractal on. Oh geez, what was the fractal? You said 2.4. Needs to go to 2.4%. So we want this to not spike. I remember that. He took sanctions off Russia oil. Yes. Lunar Entity said, I suggest this because Bitcoin is quite bullish on high time frames, which is an inverse signal to current credit conditions. What just happened to Iran's Karg Island, which, by the way, I swear, like 2-3 days ago, this was Iraq's Karg Island. Maybe it was a typo. Maybe I read it wrong. President Trump just said the U.S. carried out the most powerful bombing raids in Middle East history on Karg Island. This is a major escalation for oil markets. Here's why. Karg Island has been described as the crown jewel of Iran's oil industry. It is a vital, tiny island on the northern Persian Gulf that manages 90% of Iran's crude oil exports. Karg Island alone handles 2% of global oil supply. In the lead up to the war, Iran was exporting as much as 3 million barrels of oil per day from Karg Island. Trump said that the U.S. military has chosen not to wipe out the oil infrastructure on the island for now. However, President Trump also said that he will reconsider that decision should Iran do anything to interfere with the free and safe passage of ships through the Strait of Hormuz, which Iran is clearly doing right now. In other words, President Trump appears to be paving the path for destruction of oil infrastructure on one of the world's most crucial oil ports and islands. It's no coincidence. This came just 2 hours after markets closed for the weekend. Buckle up for a busy weekend ahead. Nobody cares. Lunarity said you took a fractal from 2018 2020 that looked pretty great. Might have been before 2019 rally. All right. 1820. It's this. I think it's this. Bars pattern. And boop. Yeah, okay, I remember now. Yeah, it was that. Right there. And I changed this. That's what I did. Because this, you can change this to be lines. There she blows. So we're looking for a drop and then a spike? Yeah, that's at 2.4. Okay. All right. I'll leave that on there this time. Okay. Breaking the Dubai real estate index crashed 32% since the Iran war started. I feel like there's gems like this that we can find for all this junk. The 50 million Aave swap may trace back to a whale. Look on chain says the trader who swapped 50.43 million AETH USDT for just 327 AETH Aave may be Garrett Jin. Garrett Jin. Who is Garrett Jin? Held this current position, blah, blah, blah. Who is Garrett Jin? Crypto whale who shorted Bitcoin. Oh, God, it's a Yahoo Finance article. Garrett Jin has been identified as the whale who placed the $735 million short position on Bitcoin before the market crashed. Timing of the short has raised suspicions of insider trading. Jin has denied allegations of wrongdoing. Half an hour before Donald Trump crashed the market on Friday, October 10th, with his threat to impose additional tariffs on China, a crypto whale opened a... That was not what crashed the markets. Opened a... blah, blah, Hyperliquid. Bit4x founder. So that's what he is. He's the founder of Bit4x. Hong Kong businessman who founded the now defunct crypto exchange Bit4x, tied to $735 million Bitcoin short in an X thread. A user known as Ion Chain traced the Bitcoin address behind the short position to Jin by linking previous transactions to ENS domain garrettjin.eth. A Hong Kong crypto veteran, Jin is most known as the founder of Bit4x, which shut down in 2024 after around 56 million customer deposits vanished. While Jin had moved on by the time Bit4x shut down, other senior executives were detained and questioned by Chinese authorities, but were ultimately released without being charged any charges. What? CZ amplifies accusations. Of course he would. Responding, CZ wrote, "Thanks for sharing my personal and private information. To clarify, I have no connection with the Trump family or Donald Trump. This isn't insider trading." What did CZ say? CZ said, Oh, CZ just shared the post. That's actually really funny. The run up to Friday's crash, large cap cryptocurrencies, blah blah blah. That's really funny, dude. Uh, they're all out to get each other, man. Super cool album said, "What are we thinking, JJ?" I don't know what I'm thinking, man. I do not know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking. I mean, I like all of these ideas right now. I have not seen a bad idea. I've seen upside, downside arguments. I like the fractal that I have right now. For some reason, Bitcoin feels bullish to me. If for some reason it's holding up better than everything else amidst all this conflict, I guess is what I should say. I hope. So the private credit thing is what led to 2008. We know that. 2008 is what inspired Satoshi Nakamoto to create or to write the Bitcoin white paper, which is what inspired all of this essentially. With that being said, I like the idea of people realizing that and buying Bitcoin because Satoshi created it, knowing it can't be manipulated and it can't be used to bail out banks and bad actors who basically fudged the numbers and lost every. I don't know. It's not being used to bail out shitty people that just take advantage. And hopefully that's what's happening because that's like back to its roots, and I like that. 88 said, Lunar Entity said, I would also deny wrongdoing with 75 million on the line, right? All right. Developer commits in 2026. Polkadot. Well, I'm just going to read them in order. I'm not going to read the amount. That doesn't matter. Polkadot, Ethereum, Cardano, Arbitrum, Optimism, BNB, ICP, Solana, Near, Avalanche, HBAR, SWE, whatever the hell CCD is, Aptos, and Algo. While prices have been down in Q1, chains are quietly putting up insane numbers in the code base. Strong indicator of development behind the scenes. I would just buy. I don't know how I feel about ARB and OP, but I like Polkadot, ETH, and ADA. I would buy those. Avalanche is promising. I like that Avalanche is in here. Those are huge numbers, though. Look at Polkadot. I think Polkadot is gonna surprise a lot of people. I really do. It's kind of coming out of nowhere. Breaking: Iran considers allowing a limited number of oil tankers to pass through the Strait of Hormuz only if oil cargo is traded in the Chinese yuan. This is also freaking hilarious. They are literally trolling the president. That is funny as hell. Lunar Entity said ICP flipping Sol on developer activity is, what are you doing, Sol? I would just say that ICP is probably lying. I'm not a fan of ICP. I will stick up for Solana in this case. I think ICP is a scam. It launched on every single major exchange. It literally launched in the top 10 magically, and then it rugged. Come on. I'm calling bullshit. That stinks. Not a fan. This is delicious. This is really good. And I'm like fucking I'm wired, bro. I'm ready. I'm ready to find the next microcap gem. All right. Yeah, this is so funny to me. I think it would be great if they did that. President Trump signs executive orders easing the pathway to homeownership for Americans. Hell yeah. With actions like promoting access to mortgage credit and removing regulatory barriers to home construction, President Trump is making it easier for Americans to buy homes, an integral part of the American dream. Let's freaking go. It's about damn time. Next week, we will see the biggest stock market crash since 1929. This is not a drill, Dr. Axios. Honestly, if that didn't play out, that would be really embarrassing. People like this have 155,000 followers. It's fucked up. Lunar Entity said, the orange one is great, but there's a fruity one, pineapple or something. Don't remember the flavor. Stop. I almost bought that one. I got the freaking berry one instead. Lunar Entity said Celsius is great, though. There's too many flavors. I don't know what to pick. I literally Googled what's the most popular. It's that orange. I think pineapple was one of them. And I was looking at it, and I was I'm just going to get berry because I know I'm going to like berry. Now watch me hate berry. It's probably going to taste like shit. Fabiano.sol posted, what went wrong? Crypto has a 1-year user retention of 2 to 4%. Out of 100 new users, just 2 to 4 people come back within a year. That's crazy. That is actually crazy. We got to pump those numbers up, guys. Those are rookie numbers. Kobe essay letter just 2 hours after the market closed. President Trump is now threatening to strike oil infrastructure on Iran's Karg Island, which accounts for 2% of global supply if Iran doesn't open the Strait of Hormuz. In fact, last month, production coming from Karg Island hit 3 million barrels per day. If this happens, $150 per barrel oil is possible. It's going to be a busy weekend ahead. Dang. Lunar Energy said that's malicious in my opinion. What is? This? Dumbass? I think it's hilarious. Just because, I don't know. I doubt it's going to happen next week. And you know, if it doesn't, he's probably going to be like, oh, they pushed it back. They rescheduled the stock market crash, you know? I feel like there's too many of these people out there. And that is it for the news segment, guys. Let's see what Grok said. I said, what would happen if the population decreased even just a little bit? Can our economies, modern markets, survive a population that isn't increasing forever? Create real economic pressures, but modern economies and markets can absolutely survive and potentially do better on a per-person basis without population growing forever. The global population is already on track to peak around the mid-2080s. Excuse me, that's crazy. At about 10.3 billion before a gradual decline per UN projections. So this isn't hypothetical. Short-term effects, a modest decline, labor shortages and higher wages. Fewer workers mean businesses compete harder for talent, pushing up pay. Rising dependency ratio, more retirees per worker, strains pensions, healthcare, and Social Security. Government faces higher spending and smaller tax base, potentially leading to higher taxes, later retirement ages, or benefit cuts. That's my issue right there. Is it would cost so much money for the working class, it would just destroy the economy. Demand and infrastructure shifts, slower growth in consumer numbers, hit volume dependent on industries, housing, blah, blah, blah. Abandoned infrastructure or school consolidation as tax revenues dip. Fiscal and debt pressures. A tiny annual dip wouldn't crash markets overnight. It's gradual, but it compounds over decades, especially with aging. Real-world evidence, it's already happening. Countries like Japan, population down 900,000 in recent years, shrinking since 2009. Germany, Italy, and South Korea show mixed but survivable outcomes. Japan hasn't collapsed. Its economy still posts modest growth via productivity gains, robotics, and efficiency, though it grapples with labor shortages. Military recruitment issues and pension strains. Per capita living standards have held up or improved in many cases. Empirical studies of declining population countries, including post-Soviet examples, final GDP and especially GDP per capita often rose faster than global averages, with falling unemployment, rising wages, and higher labor participation. The feared death spiral didn't materialize. Economists like Paul Krugman have noted Japan managed fine. Despite workforce shrinkage and low declining population, growth isn't inherently a crisis, especially given environmental limits. Interesting. I like it. So it sounds like we can do fine. Upside, less pressure on resources, environment, potentially higher wages, and more sustainable consumption. Some analysis shows declining populations correlate with better per capita outcomes and reduced unemployment. Very cool. Lunar Energy said, for context, that would be like the Fed coming out the hour after Bitcoin hits 126K and saying they're raising rates to 15% at 12 a.m. They did this overnight in 1929 without a word. That's crazy. That's crazy. That is crazy. Look at Bitcoin turning green, 71,000, $6.83. Very cool. We like green Bitcoin. Guys, I've been going for just over 2 hours, so I'm going to call it an evening. You guys voted I Am Legend. All right, I'll take it. I actually like that. What's up, Pickle Rick? I asked you guys what the best apocalypse movie is. 60% of you guys said I Am Legend. 20% said The Day After Tomorrow. 20% said World War Z. 0% said Leave the World Behind. I actually really liked that movie. I thought it was quite realistic. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited for the weekend, man. I busted my ass this week. I got like a bunch of side gigs done. and I plan on making some content this weekend. If you guys haven't already, go watch my latest upload. It's like 5 or 6 minutes. Just give it a listen. I recorded it like 1,000 times because some of it sounded like shit. Some of it there was background noise. There's all kinds of problems with it, but I figured it out, and I'm happy with it. Lunar Entity said Day After Tomorrow, underrated in my opinion. I agree. I love that movie. I think it's great. Also, I don't know. There's something cozy about it. The winter scenes, and the boat, and the wolves, and the New York, and the sled, and the window, and the fire. I don't know. It's a good movie. The aesthetic is very pleasing. Anyways, guys, today's movie suggestion. I'm going to go over it again. It's called Light of My Life from 2019 with Casey Affleck. Brilliant movie. Highly recommend. Go watch it. Tell me about it tomorrow. Appreciate you guys. As always, when the market starts to do anything crazy or anything at all, I will hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Happy Friday and good night.